Self-care, soft life, quiet luxury, wellness era. We are deep in the anti-hustle culture. Rest is king and stress is the enemy. But the $400 skincare routines and influencers who already have the perfect lives are making the rest of us feel stuck. Of course, it's easy to be in your soft girl era when you don't work a 9 to 5 or have 1,000 other responsibilities on your plate. I used to be that girl, overstimulated, constantly stressed out, and always functioning on the bare minimum of sleep. And I thought that was normal. But after many years of burning myself out repeatedly, I started building my own version of a soft life, one that could work with my real schedule. Now I run a business, spend time doing the things I love, and still get 8 hours of sleep without feeling guilty. These are the 5 habits that changed everything for me. So if you're craving a life that is slower, softer, and stress-free, this is your blueprint. This is gonna be the realest advice you'll probably hear from anyone. And I don't sugarcoat anything in my videos, so I'm gonna give it to you straight. You have way too much shit. You need to lighten your load and get rid of anything that is weighing you down. And this is hard because we are in an overconsumption era. You can buy anything with the press of a button and it'll be at your door in the next 48 hours. The sheer amount of random stuff you can buy is insane. And guess what? You don't need any of it. The majority of the material stuff that you own gets tucked away in the corners of your house, but also in the corners of your mind. All of it is unconsciously taking up valuable space and energy. And when you accumulate too much of it, you start to feel suffocated and you don't know why. But the trick that has worked for me for years is seasonal cleanouts. Basically, after every season, I go through my closet, my drawers, my cabinets, and I get rid of anything I'm not using and don't plan to use. And I only hold on to what I need and what brings me happiness. You may think that physical stuff doesn't bring more stress into your life, but it actually does. You're just not aware of it at the conscious level. Like, no one has ever said, "Oh my God, I am so much happier because I have 300 plushies." Now, in the short term, buying all those plushies might give you a feeling of happiness, but over time, you're just gonna revert back to your natural state of being. Nothing physical will ever change your emotions long term. Of course, you should still buy whatever your heart desires. I'm just saying that after I realized that I don't need all the stuff that I own, I became so much more clear-headed. When there is less to clean and less stuff to organize, I have more space to breathe and to live my life. So do some inventory on what are the things that bring you the most joy and keep those, shout out Marie Kondo, and eliminate everything that does not bring that same energy. So all those empty boxes and random stuff you hold on to just in case, you are never going to need them. I've held onto some stuff for years, but in the end, I never ended up using any of it, and it just created more stress in my life. By the way, this also applies to relationships. The longer you hold on to that person that is creating more stress in your life, the more miserable you're gonna be. And the more resentful you'll feel towards them. So do that person a favor and let them go. They deserve to be happy too. This goes for both romantic relationships and friendships. When you take away everything that is not serving you, you free up more energy to spend on the people and things that really matter to you. The next habit that is going to help you live a more stress-free life is to schedule your me time. But the second half of this that a lot of people forget is that you need to actually specify what you're going to do during your me time. If you just put me time for next Thursday on your calendar, when Thursday rolls around, there are going to be a dozen other priorities on your to-do list. And then guess what? You're going to sacrifice your me time because you'd rather be productive and get stuff done. But this is exactly why you're stressed out. It's like promising a 5-year-old they can have dessert after dinner, and then you, the parent, is like, psych, no dessert for you. How do you think that kid is gonna respond? Obviously, they're gonna start bawling their eyes out, and we are not that different from kids. But instead of crying, we just crash out and project our anger out on other people. However, you cannot blame other things or people for the state of your life. That's all on you, baby. So, moral of the story, don't wait until you're burnt out to rest. You need to bake your me time into your schedule and plan out what you're gonna do. Are you gonna do a face mask, read a book, get a massage, watch a movie? You really need to be intentional with this. You need to give your personal time the same level of importance as your work. I don't know, I feel like rest will always be looked down upon. Because when we think of resting, we usually associate adjectives like lazy, slow, unproductive, but really, rest is just a productive pause. You need rest. Your body and mind depend on it. And if you continuously put it off, you will actually be less productive in the long run. Now, if you're thinking like,
Allison, I don't have time for an entire spa day. I don't even have an hour for myself.
I feel you. That used to be me all the time. But the beauty of self-care is that you can decide how long you want it to be. Just 10 to 15 minutes of intentional self-time can make a huge difference. And if you are someone who always feels overstimulated and glued to screens like me, you need a ritual. If you've been following me for a while, you know I love my wellness tech. I've got the LED masks, facial devices, all the skincare. But what I was really missing in my routine was something for my eyes. I stare at a computer all day long and I always suffer from eye fatigue. On top of that, I do not get the best sleep, so my dark circles and puffiness are really bad. But one of my favorite wellness devices lately that I've baked into my routine is the iBreo relaxing eye massager. This is like a mini spa for your face. It is an eye mask massager that uses heat, cooling technology, and gentle vibration to relieve eye tension, puffiness, fatigue, and even migraines. It is my favorite part of my self-care routine right now. I will just throw it on while listening to some music or when I'm meditating, and I instantly feel so much more relaxed. It also connects via Bluetooth, so you can play your favorite songs or meditations directly through the device. The eye massager is ultra light and portable, making it super convenient to take on the go. I will definitely be bringing this with me when I travel, because we all know airplanes are the most overstimulating environment, and I get the worst eye fatigue on flights. But this eye massager is so perfect for when you just want to tune out and get a little bit of me time. And because it wraps around your head, it creates an amazing sensory experience that helps your nervous system shift into rest mode. So if you are someone who always struggles to switch off, or you feel like you're constantly on edge, I highly recommend scheduling your me time into your day and adding the iBreo massager to your self-care toolbox. It is one of those purchases that actually feels so worth it to me because I do not play about my self-care. I'll leave the link below so you can check it out and add it to your own stress-free routine. I might get some haters for sharing this, but I actually don't like scrolling on social media anymore. And I realized this when I started the habit of batching my screen time. Like when I tell you before, I would just peruse social media all day long. I would do a little bit of work, check my phone, do some more work, check my phone again, and I would do this all day. I honestly don't know how I would get stuff done because that is actually so horrendous. But the truth was, I was actually addicted to social media. Like I could not restrict myself from it. But the first step of recovering from addiction is realizing you have one. And once I realized that, I immediately went back to limiting my screen time. I use a screen management app called Opal, and it essentially just blocks you from using certain apps on your phone. So I set up my session to block all my social media from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. No Instagram, no TikTok, no LinkedIn. And I'm not joking when I say this, but it actually cured my addiction. I think checking my phone between work sessions was kind of like an automatic response for me. But now even if I try to go on social media during the day, I literally can't. So batching my screen time has helped so much with my productivity. But the funny thing is, even when all my apps open back up at 5 p.m., I have very little desire to check them. Because by the time I'm able to check my phone after the workday, I am just way too tired and ready to go to bed. So it's kind of a win-win. I'm telling you, just be honest with yourself if you are addicted to your phone. It's okay, we all are. Do yourself a favor and put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Mute any non-essential notifications because all of these just create sensory noise, which leads to overstimulation and anxiety. Our phones are actually one of the biggest sources of stress, so logically, the longer you're on your phone, the more stressed out you're gonna be. So batch all your screen time for one sitting and you will find so much more peace in real life. Let me make something clear though. Living a soft life doesn't mean you stop working towards your goals. A soft life doesn't mean being anti-hustle. You can still work hard and enjoy life at the same time. But where a lot of people get discouraged is their timeline. Everyone wants their dream body, the career, the glow up right now. But you have to realize whatever timeline you have in your head for your goals, multiply that by 2 or 3 times. Because everything takes longer than you initially anticipate. Everything. I know you are super ambitious and you want a better life for yourself. That's why you're watching this video. But you are trying to accomplish 10-year goals in 1 year and it's not going to happen. It will eventually, but not overnight. So do not try to rush your dream life. The best things in life are the ones that marinate for years. They take tons of work, but that's what makes them so rewarding. Here's what I'll tell you. As your big sis that's tried every strategy imaginable, it's not that you're lazy, untalented, or too broke. You're just not consistent. No one likes to talk about consistency because it is the most boring concept ever. It's just showing up every day and doing the same thing over and over and over again. But because not a lot of people do it, very few people are actually wildly successful. So don't be like everyone else. If you want to be exceptional at what you do, you need to put in the reps. Basically, if you want results no one else has, you can't do what everyone else is doing. You need to show up every day and do it for yourself. No one can give you consistency. It's not something you can buy. You just have to do it. So take away your timeline for a second. Look at where you are right now. Figure out what are the things you need to do to get closer to your dream life, and then do them every day. Listen, the way you talk to yourself will shape the way you experience your life. A soft life isn't just about what you do, it's about how you think. And I believe a lot of us need to reframe our thinking. You need to start replacing those automatic negative thoughts with more empowering ones. I'm not asking you to pretend to be positive, but it's about shifting your perspective so you don't put yourself in a victim mentality. Let me give you some examples. Instead of saying, ugh, I don't want to work out today, replace it with, I'm grateful I get to move my body today. Instead of saying, I hate going to work, replace it with, I'm gaining experience that's going to help me in the future. Instead of saying, I have to go to this birthday party, say, I get to celebrate someone I care about. These little mindset shifts can completely change how you feel and perceive the world. And out of all the tips I've shared, this one has the most power and potential by far. And this doesn't mean you have to love everything that's happening in your life. You might really be struggling right now. There will be days you're gonna feel completely exhausted, stressed out, but reframing your thoughts literally empowers you with control to keep going and see the good in every situation. Because in the game of life, there are no losses. There are only wins and lessons. You will either achieve stuff or learn from stuff. That's it. What this habit will show you is that you always have the power. You are not a victim of your schedule or circumstances. So start reframing your thoughts today. It costs nothing, but it will have the biggest impact on your life. I hope this reminded you that wellness is not just for influencers or rich people. It's really about the small habits you do every day and the way you take care of yourself. Because in this life, the only person that's got you is you. So do your job, take care of yourself, and the rest will follow. If you want to grow in your wellness era and keep building healthy routines that feel good and actually stick, you will really love this next video, so click here to watch. As always, you got this, I'm rooting for you, and you are already a winner. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.